Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Queens.
Good morning.
Yeah.
That's more like it.
That's more like it. We, Jewish people, wake up every morning and the first words out of our mouths are Moda Ani. We are grateful people. We are people of peace. Our most used word is shalom. What is shalom? Shalom is hello. Shalom is goodbye. Shalom is peace. And shalom is God. It's one of his names. We use shalom in our lives, in everything that we do. When we say hello, God is with us. When we say goodbye, God is with us. And when we're in peace, God is always with us. We take that with us wherever we go. We are a peaceful people. We don't look for trouble. We don't look to riot. We don't look to damage. We just want everyone to leave us alone. What happened in the Hillcrest High School last week, and then 2 weeks before that, or a week before that, is unacceptable. Where are our leaders? Where were the heads of the school? Where was the Department of Education? We have people here behind us, our electeds. Every single one of them is here. Queens showed up because Queens cares. They care about their people. They care about every walk of life. Jew, non-Jew, it doesn't matter. You have to know how to be a human being. Your religion doesn't matter. But when it comes to Jews, we get stepped all over all the time. And who's standing up for us except us? It's not okay. It's not okay. Where was the chancellor? He didn't know? He didn't know what was happening in his own schools? Come on, that's not okay. Where was he? Why wasn't anyone telling him this? Why did we need to have TikTok videos all over Instagram and social media platforms? That's how we get our information? Unacceptable. A Jewish teacher has to go into hiding? Unacceptable. We don't want words anymore. We're tired of the words. Our elected officials need to do more. These elected officials standing here with me, each and every one of them is amazing in his and her way. They came here, they stand with us, they've been standing with us since the October 7th atrocities became known. When we found out about them, the murder, the rape, the abduction, all of our leaders here in Queens stood with us, cried with us. But where are the uppers? Where are the decision makers? The ones who make the laws? They are also talking the talk. They also stood with us. But what about putting the laws into effect? Putting their feet to the fire? Not allowing the teacher to have to go into hiding, or students in colleges to have to go into hiding and to be afraid to wear a yarmulke or to have their Israeli flags. My dad, who's here with us today, asked me to please take my Israeli flag out of my car because he didn't think it was safe for me. That's insane in the United States of America in 2023. And I'm not going to stand for it, and neither are they. So, I would like to introduce Assemblyman David Weprin, who is the assemblyman in the district where Hillcrest High School is.
The main incident that happened at Hillcrest High School, and by the way, it was last Monday, but most of us did not find out about it until either Thursday or Friday, really Friday, and some not till Saturday or after the Sabbath, Saturday night. the particular teacher was at a rally that almost all of us were at. It was 2 days after the massive slaughter and murder of so many innocent Jews on October 7th. It was actually the worst slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust in any single day. And that occurred on October 7th. The rally in question was 2 days later, October 9th. The incident happened on Saturday, on the Sabbath, on the last day of a Jewish holiday. 2 days later, most of us were in front of the Kew Garden Hills Library that Monday, October 9th. That is the posting of this particular teacher that had a sign that said, "I stand with Israel," and it was at that particular rally. Obviously, it was her free speech. It was something that we all supported. We were still in shock over that massive Holocaust of individuals on October 7th, the mass killing of seniors and babies and raping of women, and it was just beyond comprehension. Something we can only compare to what happened to Jews during the Holocaust. They were basically Nazi tactic. So this particular teacher, who had taught at Hillcrest High School for a number of years, was there exercising her own rights, but she was also a committed Jew. And she was holding the sign, "I stand with Israel." And that's apparently what these students were supposedly reacting to. The mayor has been very strong, don't get me wrong, on his statements that he's made in support of Israel. He actually could have been the same person holding a sign saying, "I stand with Israel," right after the attack. And he did. He went to a major rally in Manhattan, was one of the featured speakers, and was very strong, spoke from his heart. He made a speech like I've never heard before, that really came from his heart. I was there. But the fact that this is happening in the schools, that this anti-Semitism, and that's the only thing you can call it, it was anti-Semitism, and it was obviously encouraged by other haters of Israel, haters of Jews, were certainly behind this. I'm not looking necessarily to place blame, although we are placing blame, that this took so long and that we didn't hear from the chancellor and the mayor on this incident. They may not have known about it right away, but that's not acceptable, as Sarala said, and I want to thank Sarala for bringing us all together. The real question is, what's going to happen from now? What's going to happen in the schools? Are these students going to be expelled? Are they going to be punished? There should be a total investigation as to who caused this riot, and it was a riot. I did see the videos. It was a clear riot, and it was an anti-Semitic riot. A riot similar to something you'd see, during the Holocaust. So we need accountability. We need to have something done of this riot and this anti-Semitic riot, this anti-Israel riot, and we need to have accountability. We want to know what's going to happen and what's going to prevent this from happening, not only at Hillcrest High School, which is a great school in my district, and the chancellor was there with me just a few weeks before rededicating the gym to a coach that had been the coach who passed away for over 30 years at Hillcrest High School, which, by the way, academically is a very good school. But this type of behavior, to allow this to happen and not to have consequences and not to have a plan. What is the plan that the Department of Education is going to have to prevent this from happening again? And we need to know, and we need to know now. Thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member. For those of you who just came, welcome to Queens. My name is Sarala Idels. I'm just a regular person who lives in Queens. I'm seeing an injustice, and I'm not okay with it. We have the head of the Jewish caucus here with us, Eric Dinowitz, who doesn't live in our district, but he's feeling with us here in Queens. We'd like to ask him to speak.
Of the city council.
Of the city council.
Okay. Morning, everyone. Thank you, Cyrilla. I did travel all the way from the Bronx to be here because it is important to address anti-Semitism everywhere in the city. And while I'm here with a heavy heart about what happened here and what's going on all over the city, I'm grateful for so many community leaders and elected officials here for stepping up and ensuring that these issues don't go unnoticed and unaddressed. It has been an extremely trying time for members of the Jewish community over the past month and a half. And we have been sounding the alarm for years. A number of us, I'm here obviously with Lynn Schulman, council member, and we have been addressing the issue of anti-Semitism since before October 7th, saying there's an undercurrent of something that exists deep inside people, and we need to address it now. And the urgency wasn't heard then. It was addressed and spoken about, but it wasn't heard. And then October 7th happened. And people felt as if that gave them license to express that deep anti-Semitism that was living inside them. And now we are seeing riots inside schools where teachers have to hide in classrooms. We saw it on college campuses where students had to hide in libraries, where there were death threats. But it is not license to hate. What's going on overseas is not license for anyone to hate anyone. Now we have, as was mentioned, a mayor and a chancellor who have been making statements which speak to the severity and the urgency of the moment. But we do not have a Department of Education that is acting with the urgency of the moment. And this is urgent. Not hearing about the issue for days, finding out about it on social media or through the New York Post is not acceptable. It is not acceptable that schools exist. This isn't one school. It's schools around the city where incidents are happening. I know, I was a teacher for 14 years, and I can tell you that there are swastikas in schools. There are anti-Semitic comments and incidents, again, before October 7th. And now it's suddenly becoming okay. But it is not okay. And the Department of Education needs to act with the urgency with which we feel this. We feel the urgency. Because while they're sitting around in rooms figuring out the best press release to give or how to handle the media, we are scared. And we're feeling alone, and we are not feeling the support that we should have from probably one of the most important agencies to do this work of bridge building, to do the work of supporting people. And the Department of Education talks a lot about social emotional health, social emotional education. We did it a lot in the classroom in the Bronx. They talk about bridging gaps and bridging divides and diversity, equity, inclusion, all of which I believe in deeply and all of which are important. But it's time that they step up and recognize that this is an urgent matter, that they need to be communicating with people when there are incidents like this, but importantly, addressing it and building community and listening to all parties at the table about what their needs are so incidents like these do not occur. Our job as a city and our job as an education department is to prepare the next generation to lead this city. And if the incident here is any indication, they are failing at that mission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would not be able to be doing many of the things that I do without Councilwoman Lynn Schulman. She is the only Jewish city council member in Queens. She is a proud Jew, and she won't stand up for this either. Please welcome her.
So, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I just want to tell you this hurts me deeply, what happened at this. And by the way, I did not find out about this because it's not my district until Saturday. And that's unacceptable. So a couple of things have to happen here. I'm going to try not to repeat what's already been said, but one is there's accountability. Accountability by the students that rioted, accountability by the school, accountability by the Department of Education. So that has to happen. That's number one. Number two is that we need to look at this, as alluded to by my colleague, Councilmember Dinowitz, as a teaching moment where we have to combat hate. And by the way, you know, people talk about words and not action. I have a combat hate program in my district that I give funding to through the Simon Wiesenthal Center. And these are the kinds of things that we need to be doing in our schools. Queens is the most diverse borough and the most diverse city in the world. And we need to make sure that hate across the board doesn't occur. We need to bring groups together. We need to make sure that our kids have an environment where they're not fearful of learning, no matter who they are. And especially, I have to tell you that the anti-Semitic issues that are happening, this is the one that we know about because it was a video, but I've heard about other instances in Queens schools that are not being reported. So we need to do that. I also want to say that I've been in touch with the Chancellor over the weekend, and I've been in touch with the Mayor's office over the weekend. They are moving on this. But we're going to also, all of us here are going to hold them accountable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have many representatives here with us today. We have a representative from Met Council, the UJA, Simon Wiesenthal Center, the UFT, educators from not even our district. We have Far Rockaway. We have people from all over who are feeling our pain with us, who don't want this happening in their schools. Who's to say that this won't happen again somewhere else? Louder, bigger, and maybe the teacher won't make it into a safe room. This is unacceptable. And you, the media, you, the people, this is on you too, just as much as it's on the rest of us back here. It's on you to send out the right message. Media, you've been failing us. Do better. I'd like to introduce Assemblyman Sam Berger.
Yeah, my mother's a high school teacher. And my wife, being a speech therapist who goes into schools on a regular basis for evaluations, I'm scared. And I'm glad to see that we have both Democrats and Republicans here because this transcends politics. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm sick and tired of the condemnations and the platitudes. Because I don't need to feel better about what happened at the high school. I need to know that it's not going to happen again. We need a plan. We need action. We need accountability. Because I don't care if you're pro-Palestinian or you're pro-Israel. This is not the way that you treat people. If you're in a school, this is not the way that you treat students. This is certainly not the way that you treat teachers. We do not riot. We do not harass. We do not destroy property because of our beliefs or because of someone else's beliefs. And to anyone who thinks that this is an isolated incident, that we can just forget about this and go home, or say it was bad and then wipe our hands away and say good job, you're wrong. Because this has been happening everywhere, and it's going to continue happening everywhere unless the Department of Education takes a stand and does something. Not in a year from now, not in 6 months from now, now, today. Thank you.
One district over from where I live is an assemblyman who has become a very dear friend of mine. And even though his dad just recently passed away, he's here with us today. I'd like to welcome Assemblyman Hevesy.
Thank you, Sir. Well, good morning, everybody. Some quick questions for the Department of Education, starting with why didn't we know until now? Where was the message to all the parents and the teachers that we're going to keep you safe, we're going to keep these environments safe? That's number one. Number two, let's go back to educating our kids. Our kids don't know that these kinds of protests are an echo back to a scary, terrible time for the Jewish people. We're worried about pogroms and Kristallnacht and our history, and now we have our kids in public school who have to be afraid. Our teachers have to be afraid. The reality here is, we as Jewish New Yorkers and members of this community, we know that there's been anti-Semitism for centuries. And we know that this latest round in Israel, which was sparked, I will tell you again, by premeditated war crimes by a terrorist organization, okay? Leaving our one ally in the Middle East, our one democratic ally in the Middle East, to fend for themselves, to protect their citizens, something that we would allow and demand of Americans if this happened to 1,300 Americans. But that is the kickoff for everybody's anti-Semitism to run rampant. You're seeing it constantly. You're seeing it all over the place. And we are here to tell you, we will never, ever allow that to happen in America. We will never, ever allow that to happen in New York. And we're going to keep holding our elected officials and our appointed officials' feet to the fire to make sure that we can live safely. This is not a crazy request. Very simple. We deserve the right, like every other American, to be safe in our communities. Our teachers deserve to teach in safe environments. And every time you see one of these ugly incidents, you're going to see a response like this, automatic. Because the only thing that we would be doing wrong now is staying silent in the face of this disgraceful, ugly anti-Semitism that we just will not tolerate. So I'm proud to be here, and we're going to be here every time we see one of these ugly incidents rear their head. Thank you very much.
I want to thank our NYPD for being here with us today. Our NYPD has been with us the entire time. Our NYPD stands with us. They love us. You know why? We are a peaceful people. When we protest, this is how we protest. We speak, we implore, we will hold your feet to the fire, but that's it. We're not breaking things, we're not trashing things, we're a peaceful people. I would like to say thank you to representatives who are here, from the electeds who weren't able to be with us today. We have representatives from Grace Meng's office, Stacey Pfeffer-Amata's office, Gennaro's office, and Speaker Adams' office. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Well, they are here. Yeah. I would now like to ask Councilwoman Joan Ariola to speak.
Thank you for all you do. This event happens right in my district, and I am proud that you chose this spot because of its meaning with the superintendent and because it's in the 32nd. Our schools are safe havens. Our schools are where children go. We drop them off where they will be safe. But that has not been the case recently. What we're seeing now are acts of violence against our children, against our teachers, against our school safety agents. But we have to ask ourselves why. Why is it happening? Because they can do it without any consequences. That's the real issue at the bottom of this. The violence in our schools happen because there are no prosecutorial consequences for them. Or going and beating up Jewish people on the street. These are non-bail eligible offenses. We stand here with a lot of state representatives that fought for better criminal justice reform. And I ask all of their woke colleagues to wake up. Because if they don't wake up, then we are going to have to continue. And it will not be just the Jews, it'll be the Italians, it'll be any group, it'll be the Catholics, the Muslims, any group. And to the mayor, I say to you, you have control of the DOE. Take control. Do not deplete our NYPD. Do not take away school safety guards and agents. Do not take from their budget. Imagine if there was a parent sitting at that front desk at Hillcrest when violence broke out against those school safety agents. Those children got a slap on the wrist, a desk appearance ticket. It'll continue to happen until we make it stop. In 2021, when we at the City Council were first elected, we promised law and order. We have not yet delivered it. As much as we've tried, we need our state representatives to stand with those who are with us here today and bring real criminal justice reform. And we need to say what's working and what isn't. We didn't hear about this right away. Why wasn't violence interrupters brought in? That's another program. Failed and overfunded. Yet we want to take away so much from our education system. Our eyes are open. We stand here not just so that our Jewish community can be safe, but that our entire community can be safe, and we do not have to live in chaos and fear any longer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to ask Councilwoman Vicky Palladino to speak. I want to give her an introduction first. She deserves it. She has been an extremely everyone here has been. This is not to take away from anyone else. But she is putting the elected's feet to the fire, and she's going to keep doing it, and we all hope she keeps doing it. Please.
Thank you very much. That was a heck of an introduction. Thank you very much. I hope I could live up to it. Yes. Everything that has been said here today, 100% yes, exclamation point. Let's go back to the beginning. Everybody thinks this is new. The DOE has been failing our kids for decades. This has now come to the point where they are literally, the inmates are running the asylum. There is no accountability. Until things change here within the DOE and the UFT, ask yourself, why was that teacher afraid to come forward? Was she afraid of consequence? These kids docked her. These are 14-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids. I said it several weeks ago, several days after the 7th. I said, you watch what happens to this city under the guise of freedom of speech. You will see these groups come out. Last night, they closed the Manhattan Bridge. They did a sit-in, 1,500. They marched over the Brooklyn Bridge, 9,000. They are allowed to preach hate and death to the Jews? No, they are not. Our kids are woke? No. Our kids are being led by their nose by a system that has failed. Where are their parents? Who is holding them accountable? Where is the principal of Hillcrest High School? I want an audit done of Hillcrest High School. I want funding cut. Actions, actions, no more words, actions. This is enough. That people have to be afraid. As my colleague stated, we send our kids to school for a safe haven. Well, I got news for you. Every high school in this city is no safe haven. They are overcrowded. The principals can't handle what's going on. Fire them. Fire whoever cannot do their job. UFT, you are the most corrupt union out there. And that's enough of that with you. Dismantle the UFT. Put the DOE in charge. Give them the power that they need in conjunction with others. And you'll see a change in New York City and in our school system. They've clouded our school system. They have not allowed our kids to learn history, as we heard here today. The basics has been taken away. When you take the cement away from underneath your feet, what happens? You sink and you fail. And that's exactly what's happening to our New York City schools. Thank you very much, everybody.
We have representatives here also from the DA's office, as well as the Borough President's office. Thank you all for coming. We now have our state senator here. He used to represent my district. Unfortunately, he doesn't represent me anymore. I now have amazing Leroy Comrie. He was unable to make it, but we do have State Senator Adabo.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, and we truly appreciate the organizers, everyone being here today, as we do take a positive step in addressing and eradicating anti-Semitism. You know, as we do this step, it is about protecting our children, our safety agents, our teachers, our administrators, everyone who is associated and victimized by anti-Semitism that has been victimized for years. Not just of a conflict 5,000 miles away, but over the years, we have had anti-Semitism, and the trick is not to react to it, to prevent it even further. Like the rungs of a ladder, every step has to be in place for that ladder to work. We all play a part here. The elected officials, we can raise the penalty for anti-Semitism. We can teach it in our schools by changing curriculum. Thank God for the NYPD. Law enforcement plays a part. We all play a part. Even the haters play a part. They need to look in the mirror. See, this is the way they want to live their life. We all play a part. And so does the DOE and universities across our state. DOE needs to step up. They need to be the important part of the rung of that ladder. Because when every part of that ladder is in place, when every rung is in place, then only we can reach the heights of eradicating anti-Semitism and living in peace. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
As an oldest granddaughter of 4 Holocaust surviving grandparents, I'm not going to stand for this. Remember my name, Sarla Idels. I will hold you to this. I will make sure that my city, my people, and all people are safe. But don't mistake what I'm about to say. Anti-Semitism is anti-Semitism. Hate is hate. Don't confuse all of them in one big chili pot. You want to talk about this life matters, and this life matters, and this life matters. That's great. And they're all important. One not more than the other. But if you say a sentence about anti-Semitism, leave it at that. Let us have our minute of murder and destruction that we didn't ask for. Let us have that. We deserved it. Thank you all so much.
They were arrested, but they were let go with 9 claims of their life. What? Out to the beat up. What?
other ones were not arrested. The first incident that happened, the initial incident that happened with those 4 teenagers beating up the three officers, they are underage, so they were not arrested. They just got something on their record. That's it. And in the incident with the teacher, nothing happened. He was arrested. One student was arrested and let go. Do me a favor. There are video surveillance from TikTok and from the school surveillance. They can't find 200 other people there who were mobbing and rioting like wild animals, screaming. Unacceptable. They were not, nothing happened with them.
Well, that's why we're here. We're demanding action. We're demanding a proper investigation, and we're demanding accountability.
We have one last speaker. His name is Richard Altby. He is the head of a very large Jewish institution in Long Island. Please.
Thank you, Sarla. I'm an educator for 40 years. I taught at Erasmus Hall High School in Brooklyn, and I served right here as a school board member 25 years ago here in District 27, Queens. And I am outraged by what's happening. It was said earlier that this is a teachable moment, so let's teach. The problem here is that the world that we live in has not defined what anti-Semitism is. They don't understand that you may want to criticize the policies of the government of Israel, but you cannot demonize the people of Israel and the Jewish people. And we demand that the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism become policy here in New York City Department of Education and in the New York State Education Department. This New York State Education Department, like the New York City Department of Education, has been silent on the matter of anti-Semitism since October 7th. And we demand a change. We demand recognition, and we demand that we put a stop to the anti-Semitism that's bringing down our city. We cannot let TikTok turn our youth into the next Hitler youth of this generation. Thank you very much.
I have one question for everybody here. This is a very small crowd. I want you to know, this is for every elected official and every media person, I want you to know that the Chancellor from the Department of Education sent a letter to every single public school teacher that was Jewish, and including every teacher, that they should not attend this rally. I just want to know, when a few weeks ago, when there was pro-Palestinian marches, they allowed the students and the teachers to leave early. Why did the Chancellor send this letter to every single teacher in the public school system that they were not allowed to attend this rally? Everybody, that's your question for you. I want to get an answer. And my name is Yaakov Searle. I'm the publisher of the Queens Jewish Link and the Bukharian Jewish Link. And I want to get that question answered today. Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate all the electeds being here today. Every single one who took from his and her time to be here with us at the last minute on a Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend. Everyone came here. Everyone heard the call and showed up. That is extremely meaningful. Thank you to the media for coming and covering this very important topic. Just please make sure, cover it the right way. Don't put any kind of spin on it. Don't make this negative. Put the right spin on it. Am Yisrael Chai, thank you.
This is not the end.
Oh, this isn't the end. Can you spell your name, please? Spell my name, get ready. You can all thank my parents after this. It's Sarla. It's spelled S-O-R-O-L-L-E. Sorry. My last name, Idels. I-D-E-L-S. Don't forget it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.